ECD is the foundation for health, for education, for economic productivity, for social cohesion, for social healing that we heard today. Yet, only a third of our children in South Africa have that foundation. And unless we find some way to radically change that situation, we're going to be bogged down in a state of increasing chronic illness, low educational outcomes, poor economic productivity. We've got to look for the game changers and not simply be concerned about trying to develop systematic investments in what has been done before. So today I'd like to present to you just 5 game changers that I think can radically change the way that early childhood development is perceived and implemented. I'll start with the reality for each of them and then present to you what I see as the game changer. We know that in assessing education in South Africa, often typically the annual national assessments are used, and we know that for home language and for numeracy, the outcomes in grade 3 are very, very poor. But by grade 6, the outcomes are even worse. And so much is focused on grade 4, 5, and 6. What's happening in the classroom? What's happening with the teachers? Why is that degradation happening between grade 3 and grade 6? Well, certainly one has to focus on grade 3 to grade 6, but we need to understand that the roots of the problem are lying far behind at the time of conception, at the time of birth, and the first few years of life. If we think of 2 children conceived and born today in Bloemfontein on this day, one rich, one poor, those children are already on fundamentally different life trajectories. And so I think the first game changer is the one that Sherry's alluded to. We have to reframe education. If we have a look at the deficits that we see in education, we tend to say, how do we remediate? How do we overcome those deficits at grade 4, 5, and 6? Well, the problem is at the bottom, not at the top. The missing blocks of nutrition, of early childhood stimulation, of parenting are the critical ones that are resulting in that deficit. And that's the reframing that is needed as we try and address many of the challenges we have in South Africa. Reality number 2. If we look at our focus on early learning in South Africa, we immediately jump to facilities. We speak about ECD centers, and the funds follow the center. If there's a center that is located in a particular community and they're registered, they can apply for funding. But the system is completely blind and oblivious to all of the children, the majority of the children who happen to be living around that center. So game changer number 2. We have to be concerned about all of the children in a defined geographical area, starting from conception, through pregnancy, through age-differentiated programs from 2 to 4 to 6, understanding the different needs of those children and defining district-based programs that seek to achieve access of 80, 90, 100% for the children. Reality number 3. Early childhood development is so cross-cutting. We know it concerns health, education, social development, home affairs, and we're constantly obsessing with the need to coordinate. And the best we can do in order to coordinate is to rely on each other's goodwill and to have meetings. Well, that's not going to fly. That's not going to improve the lives of the children. Game changer number 3. We need a head start, an oportunidades in South Africa, some sort of all-stars franchise that holds together early childhood development, that gives us a sense of focus, gives us a sense of direction, that is spearheaded by a national agency, by provincial agencies, and serves to coordinate the activities that are happening at a district level. That's the only way in which we're going to truly make a quantum leap forward in terms of ECD. Reality number 4. We know that subsidies for children in centers is meant to be for the poorest children. The means test is meant to exclude the wealthier children. But We know that, that if you have a look at the picture here, those children in quintile 5, the wealthiest children, have double the exposure to ECD than the children in the poorest quintile. What's going on? Because it's facilities-based, and because those centres have to be registered, kids going to the poor centres just don't have enough resources. The infrastructure is poor, the quality is poor, so those centres can't get registered. They don't get registered, so they don't get money to improve their services. So these children are stuck in a vicious cycle. Game changer number 4. Let's put more power in the hands of parents. How about giving parents vouchers, giving them funding, supplementing the conditional grant with some sort of condition that puts money into the hands of parents to decide where their children can go. If we can do that, we can have pro-poor access to services and hopefully a way of really stimulating quality. And the last one, none of this is going to happen unless we have the people to do it. And we don't have a system and infrastructure in place that is systematically relating supply of practitioners to need. And we're still, if you have a look at the training that is offered, at level 4 and level 5 we have centre-based training. We don't have level 4 training for community-based activities. This is accredited training. Program management is offered by a lot of NGOs, but it's unaccredited. There's no progression. And if you get a level 6 diploma, there's no way that you can progress and move into university if you wish. So the final game changer. Let's start with a set of services that need to be provided on the ground. What is this essential package? Who's going to provide it? And if we have that bottom-up approach, it will become obvious what the training requirements are in FET colleges, and then create an articulation into the B.Ed foundation phase. Those are the 5 game changers. Framing, well, we need to reframe education. We need to focus on every child, not on the facility. We need to have some sort of franchise that holds together our approach, that enables people to feel that they belong to something bigger than themselves, that galvanizes South Africa for the child. We need to have family-driven demand instead of constantly driving it by supply. And we need to have a bottom-up approach to education and training. We're in a quagmire in education in South Africa. We need systematic, inexorable progress. But we also need radical game changers. Early childhood development may well be just that thing. Thank you.